Let's start with this part. We are now doing SA 500. Very, very simple. SA 500, we started with this diagram. Very, very simple. Let's go for it. First is, what is audit evidence is covered here. What is audit evidence? Question number one. It includes any accounting records or anything that authenticates the accounting record and supports the auditor's thinking. That is rational. That is the definition. Question number one. Question number two. Kartik sir, what is sufficiency? Sufficiency is the measure of quantity of any evidence. How good is the evidence in terms of quantity? We call it as sufficient. Okay, sufficiency. Sufficiency gets affected by which factors? So factors that affect sufficiency. This came in the Jan 2025 exam, by the way. Mars code. This is basically your first is materiality, risk of material misstatement, and size of the population. Okay. Next, A is in relation to appropriateness. In appropriateness, we see two factors. Again, another question, that is relevance and reliability. Sir, when will the auditor rely more on the audit evidence? So that is basically this. When will you rely more on the audit evidence? We had a code called INDO. Independent sources outside the entity. Internal control. If it is more effective, you'll rely more. If it is directly obtained by the auditor, you'll rely more. Documentary evidence, you'll rely more. And if it is original documents, you'll rely more. Indo also code. Okay. So this definition becomes question number one. Factors affecting sufficiency will become for us question number two. Appropriateness is question number three. And when will you rely more on audit evidence is question number four for us. That completes this part. Let's go further. Question number five. That is, sir, in order to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, the auditor will perform which audit procedures? That is question number five. We had Cairo. Let's go for it. Confirmation, analytical procedures, inspection, inquiry, reperformance, recalculation, observation. Simplest area. This is question number five. So this chart covers 5 questions of SA 500. In total, remember, there are 11 questions. Remember the track. This has 5 questions out of 11 questions in this SA 500. Then we go to the next question number 6. 6, very simple. 6 was in relation to, tell me, that is, how will the auditor obtain a reasonable assurance? Very simple, you know it very well. So the auditor will do test of controls, substantive procedures, and before that, of course, when he does the UEE plus UAE, it is part of your risk assessment procedures. This is what he will do, okay, to reach the R level. Very simple question, that is, how does the auditor obtain reasonable assurance? Very basic. This we have done it in our base diagrams, basically, okay. And also, I told you all to read this area. Question number 7, let's start with our favorite one, assertions. Let's start assertions about transactions. Let's go for the hand action. Let's start right hand action. Occurrence, completeness, cutoff, classification, accuracy. What is the assertion about account balances? So let's do this. That is existence, rights and obligation, completeness, valuation. What are the assertions about disclosure? Both hands, go for it. Tell me occurrence, completeness, classification, accuracy. Simplest area to crack, easy. This question number 7 for us. Question number 8 now. Audit trail. Very simple. Audit trail was what? Let's go for it. It's a documented flow of transaction from source document, accounting entries made. From there, financial statements are prepared. So when we check if the audit trail is available, it means you can go backward and check the source. In that case, you will get the confidence regarding authentication and integrity of the transaction, genuineness of the transaction. You have to remember in the short note while writing that you have to remember a code called true coco. True coco is what? First, track many type of transaction. Or you can do record maintenance of user activity and system. So your R and U are together. Remember while writing the point. E is expenditure. What system is there in place and what expenditure is done so that the data can be analyzed. So system for maintenance of audit trail and system for analyzing data in audit trail. Next is COCO, that is confidence in the auditors. It gives confidence to the auditor that audit trail is there in place. Last point is controls verification. If audit trail is there in place, you feel, oh, controls are working properly. You have that confidence. Easy, simple. That completes this audit trail short note. If it comes in the examination, pretty sure that you are going to do well. Let's go to the next one. This is question number 9, 10, 11. 9. First, basic regarding this. When the auditor appoints an outside expert himself or any expert himself, that is auditor's expert, that will get covered in CA final in a standard called SA 620. When the management appoints the management expert will give a report, and that report is given to the auditor. This report, which is given to the auditor, this gets covered in SA 500 because it's coming from the management. Management expert giving report to the management giving report to us. So for us, it is audit evidence that gets covered in SA 500. I don't know whether you remember, I told you anything that comes from this funnel, which is here, will get covered in SA 500. This is what we did. Okay. Now we go to question number 9, 10, 11. Let's start. Sir, regarding management expert, what all will you evaluate? How will you evaluate the management expert? We did in 3 levels. We'll judge the person, we'll judge his work, we'll then see how appropriate is his work for our audit evidence. Judge the person, judge his work, see how appropriate his work is for our audit evidence. How do you judge a person? Very simple. Look at his competence, how good he is at his work, whether he has a capability of getting your work done, and third, objectivity, whether he is having an unbiased approach. Next, you'll understand the work of the expert. So any report that the expert has given, you'll go through that to understand the work of the expert. And last but not the least, you will see whatever report he has given, how useful is that report for your evidence, the appropriateness of auditor's expert's work for our audit evidence. So three things: judging the person, judging his work, how appropriate is his work for our audit evidence. Are you there with me? Yes or no? Question number 9 is evaluating the management expert. Question number 10. When the management expert gives any information, the information shall be. We did a code in the class, if you remember, we did a code called Pakode. Remember Pakode? I told you many codes can come. Pakode, Deepak, Kapde, or Deepak ke kapde pe gir gaye pakode. You can do all these things. So what is pakode? Let's do one by one piece here. First of all, information should be precise. It should be precise. It should be accurate. It should be complete, and it should be detailed. Precise, accurate, complete, detailed. Precise, accurate, complete, detailed. Okay, now you can do whatever you want with the code. Next. Question number 11, in my opinion, one of the best questions to ask in the examination. It's a thinking question. Start. When using the work of management expert, what factors affect my auditors and nature, time, and extent of audit procedures? Arpita is a management expert. In that case, she is giving a report. How will her work affect my nature, time, and extent of audit procedures? That is what I am looking at. How does it affect my work? First, I look at the matters that she has given the report of. So I look at the matters, nature, and complexity. Nature and complexity. What matter has she given the report of? How complex it is? The more complex it is, more her report's value will increase more in my mind. Less complex, easy to understand. Then her report will be very easy for me to deal with it. I'll not give it that much importance. Risk of material misstatement. What is the chance of big accounting error happening regarding this matter? So if the company, there is a chance of huge accounting mistake happening, in that case the RMM is high. If the RMM is high, you understand here, it becomes very important for me that her report should be proper. That is another factor. So with matters, you have two: nature and complexity, RMM. With A, Arpita is the only person who makes such kind of report. In that case, there is no alternative source. But like Arpita, if suppose many others are available to give such kind of reports, her expertise is not rare. In that case, I get alternative sources from where I can get the information. Okay, so that is another factor. So matters and alternative sources. Next, simple. What work she has done? What was her goal? What has she covered? What work she has done? Nature. What was her goal? Objectives. What area she has covered? Scope of the management expert's work. Next, control on the management expert with the entity. So basically, entity, what controls it has in place regarding the management expert and management expert's work. And second, does the management of the entity have a control on the management expert? So basically, the report of the expert will be biased. Example, the management of the company is the related party to the management expert. In that case, the management expert will give a report in favor of the management. So you understand here, that is called management's control over the management expert. Next, standards. Is the expert following technical performance standards? That is what we are checking here. If they are following, good thing. Are they employed or not? If they are employed, bad thing. It means their report will be little bit biased. But if they are not employed, then in that case, it is a good thing for the statutory auditor. Experience, very good point. Experience of the management expert. If Arpita is a management expert, what kind of experience she has in her field of expertise. Let's say she's a valuation expert having an experience of 25 years, then I can rely on her report more. If she has experience of just half a year, 1 year, I may not rely on her report more. Her experience. And last is my experience of working with the expert. When I'm doing the audit of A Limited now, they have appointed Arpita as an expert for giving valuation report. Earlier, when I was doing the audit of X Limited, Y Limited, Z Limited, they also had appointed Arpita. And I know Arpita gives excellent valuation reports. I know. So I have a good experience of working with her. That will also become a factor. That is the experience, that is our previous experience of working with the management expert. Are you there with me, yes or no? Is question number 11. Question number 11. Okay. 11 questions in essay 500.